Morning all, how are we all doing? Why is my video capture not working again? What's going on with that? One sec, stupid thing. That's not the right one, is it? Sorry, I'm just talking to my computer. Carry on amongst yourselves. There I am. Weird, some days that just goes, yeah, I'll turn on. Other days it just goes, I don't fancy it today. Morning, everybody. Morning, Danny. Morning, Evil. Morning, Sarah. Morning, Momo. Virginia, Mark. Amrit Raj. That's a new name. Don't know that one. Morning, how are we all going? Right. Morning, Paul. So this morning is Friday, last day of the week. Not quite the last day of the month. Today we've got PMI day. So volatility all day today from start to finish. We've got retail sales, which came out for the pound this morning. Very, very positive result on that. Not a massive amount of movement on the pound. So we've got an upward tick, but we haven't, pound odd's done kind of half an ADR. We've got not really even a quarter of an ADR on the pound CAD. So pound Swiss coming down. Why is that coming down? We got why is that happening? Swiss franc strength. So yeah, not a very I don't know quite what to say about that one, but a very underwhelming, I guess, move from the pound on that news. I would have expected that to be a much bigger move this morning on the pound, but we'll see what happens for the rest of the day. I suspect they're not really doing a lot with it until we get the PMIs. So we might find that the pound takes off, especially if the PMI figures are positive today. So we'll see what happens with those. Morning, everybody else. Ismet, Brandon. So yeah. That's this morning's news. PMI is the Purchasing Managers Index, which is basically the index for cost of raw materials, which is passed on to consumers, which feeds the consumer price index, which leads into interest rates. So the PMI is one of the most important figures that we have, which is why we pay attention to it. Because obviously it affects inflation, and inflation is in effect what affects interest rates, and interest rates affect direction of FX. So that's 8:15 is the first one coming out, which is in about 10 minutes, which is France. The most important one for the euro is the German. These two combined make up the European flash, which is why that's orange. So this one really doesn't tend to move the market because we know what that's going to be, because it's an amalgamation basically of those two. Excuse me. So yeah, so those are coming out 8:15 and 8:30. So potential movement on the euro. The DAX as well will move this morning off of those. Then we've got the pound at 9:30. That's when we're probably going to see the FTSE move, and obviously the pound will probably take off on that news as well then, especially, as I say, if it's a positive number. We are forecasting ever such a slight uptick, but we'll have to wait and see what the numbers are. Then hour before the market opens, we've got the Canadian PMIs. 15 minutes after market open, we've got the US PMIs. So just be careful with the indices this afternoon. It's likely to be a whippy first 15 minutes because we're not going to move the market until we've got those numbers in. They're not going to know what the dollar's going to do. If you want to buy stocks, you want to buy them as cheap as possible. If the US dollar is going to drop on the PMI numbers, you want to buy your stocks later on today, not at the open. So we tend to get a fairly sideways open often when we've got a 2:45 news announcement. Home sales and Michigan at 3. Michigan last time really shook the market. So I know it's an orange one. I don't believe that this is anything. The movement we get off Michigan, I don't think is anything to do with that survey, because the survey is pretty poor. I think it's because it's the very last news event. It's the last flurry of orders that comes through on a Friday afternoon. So obviously Friday afternoons are end of week. End of week is getting your P&Ls right so that you get paid. So there's a lot of market movement to hit targets on Fridays. So we tend to see, I think, a big spike in that, and that's it. That's done for the week. So we'll see what happens this afternoon again, but quite often Michigan does do the move. It's usually sort of end of month as well. We are February, so it's not end of quarter either this week. Actually, next week is actually end of month, isn't it? Friday. Sorry, Thursday. Yeah, Friday, 28th. So we've got one more week to go. Matt will be speaking later as well. I doubt anything will come out of that because obviously we're all sitting there waiting for Mr. Trump to announce whether or not he's going to do these tariffs. So 5 minutes time, we got the first news coming out. Overnight news, nothing exciting. Obviously, this thing with Donald Trump and Ukraine is blowing up. What the hell's going to happen there? I have no idea. But it's starting to flare up again in Israel. We have bombs going off in Tel Aviv last night. If that destabilizes again, we could well see another massive flurry into the yen and the Swiss franc. So just be aware if you've got any Swiss franc or yen exposure and you're not buying the Swiss and the yen, you may well go into drawdown for a couple of days on those because obviously the safe haven runs will drive those two very hard until they undo themselves. Lots of stuff out Japan last night. Nothing exciting though. So there we go. So that's your overnight news. CPI came out on target for Japan as well. So nothing's moved really overnight. So if you look at the ADR dash, we've got Swiss yen. That's the only mover overnight. We've got an ADR hit there, which is a nice reversal opportunity. It's already actually hit ADR this morning, and you've already had a short there. So on the 5 minute chart, that was your reversal alert there, that candle, and it was bang on ADR, look, straight on ADR. So you didn't get much out of it really. Didn't even get a test of propulsion. So second reversal alert is about to go in here at the moment because we've just invalidated that high. So that's potentially your M pattern forming. But as I say, if we get a safe haven run, if anything kicks off in Israel, this morning will be somewhere around the lows. So yeah, be careful. That's a really good opportunity for a short. That's a lovely pullback as well. Look, 61.8 retracement on the last 2 day leg. It's around about 38 retracement on the last week. So yeah, looks like a good short. We've got this propulsion gap to the upside on the 5 minute. There's lots of propulsion gaps to the upside on the 5 minute. What's the hourly like? Yeah, it's a 38 retracement. So good looking short this for a continuation. However, there's always a however. We are bouncing off of the double weekly lows, and you've just had a reversal alert, and potentially you're going to retest into that propulsion gap. So if you want to short this today, intraday, watch this area here for a scalp back down into where we were. That high there basically is what you want to be watching if that's going to happen. If you want to hold it and we're going to break that low, hold it. So that's your ADR today. There is only the one. The weekly, obviously, we've covered already. Aussie, New Zealand, that one played out straight away. So can't do a lot with that. The RSIs, we got, there was a lot of RSI extensions yesterday. All of them were yens. So if you took any yen trade yesterday on the RSI extensions, I went through all of them in the members stream. Was it yesterday or was it Wednesday? Yeah, it was yesterday, yeah. Yeah, so in the members stream yesterday, we went through all the yen extensions. I actually got into a yen yesterday. I think I got into a yen yesterday. I did. Pound yen, long. It's in a lovely profit. So I got into a yen yesterday. Shock horror. So yeah, RSI extension, beautiful bounce today on all of those, but they're all off of extension now. So CAD yen played out nicely, Swiss yen played out nicely, Euro yen, they all did, they all worked. It doesn't matter which one you took, they all worked. That's a Swiss. So yeah, nice. I'm actually just what did I target on that pound yen? Actually, we got the PMIs. I might leave it, actually, because we've got the PMIs coming. If we get nice numbers on those PMIs backed up by retail this morning, the pound's going to be up here somewhere this afternoon. So I'm going to leave that on. I'm not going to take the profit on that. So this morning, you've only got 4-hour RSIs showing at the minute. We've got, that's a nice extension as well. So we've got this big 4-hour extension, which is just turning over now on Aussie US. We have the pound US dollar also. That Aussie US is a nice level as well, I think. Oh, no, it's not. No. This propulsion gap here is your break of support retest. So this is potentially 125 ADR today. If it can get to 125 ADR today, that will be a very nice, because you'll get divergence on RSI and you'll be hitting previous resistance, which is the previous sell area. So that looks a really good short if it can squeeze a little bit more today. There's your Aussie US. You've also got the pound US nicely extended. That's in propulsion, so this is going to get exhausted soon. So that's a nice little area which we were targeting. I've just taken a fourth on that today. We'll have a look at the zones in a minute, but I've taken a fourth on that today. This zone, once this is completed, this is the line in the sand up here. If we can rally all the way up to there without doing a pullback, this is going to come down really fast and hard, be a nice profit. But I get the feeling this propulsion gap is going to hold. It's struggling to get any further now. This is where we started the sell move. So if we are still short pound, we'll be off down there. But obviously we just had really good news, so this could well push up into there. We'll see. And we've got no US strength at the minute. The other extensions we've got are New Zealand CAD. That's a 4 hour. Again, not the greatest level in the world, but nice rejection, nice wicks. So that could well pull back into propulsion. So market structure is long. Coming up to retest the highs. And New Zealand dollar, US dollar. That's coming up to a nice resistance. What line's that? That must be from another chart. What that is. It's not anything on this chart. So again, lovely rejection. There's a lot of rejection this morning. A lot of rejection. That's a lot of rejection. There's buyers are not getting through there, are they? Hell of a bull move. Absolute brick wall they're hitting. So that's a really good short. You've probably already had a 5-minute reversal alert on that. No, you haven't actually. So the reversal alert is here, look. So there's your high. That was the last batch of sellers before the high of the day. We are supporting it. They are buying it. So this move. So if that breaks, and it's just gapped down, look. Literally just gapped down. We just had news, that's why. 15 past rather. So euro, let's see what the euro, there we go. Big bear move on the euro. So the PMI figures are negative. It's negative PMI for euro. 44.5 on a 48.8. That's a big miss. That's a big miss on the services. Manufacturing on target. Where's all the historical data gone? Where's all the historical PMI? That's... we normally get history. Do we not get history on PMI numbers? Maybe we don't. I thought we used to get history on all numbers. PMI, basically all the PMIs are missing. Look, so the graph icon that shows you the historical data is missing from all the PMI numbers. I'm sure we used to have historical PMI data. We've never. Why would you not? I think that's a glitch. But yeah, that's a fairly decent deviation. So if Germany comes out similar, that they were forecasting an increase there. Germany are forecasting a ever so slight decrease. So if that comes out as a negative, you can kiss the euro goodbye today. And I've got a euro pound on as well. Oh, that was on my other account. I'm short as well. Oh, it's only a single. I'll leave it on. Right. Okay, so there you go. Morning, Greatfield Buster. Interesting to see how bad the swap is for longing the yen, even against the Swiss. $1.68 negative. So yeah, Swiss yen is long is not paying you. But everything else, all other yens are brilliant. That's why I'm long the yen, because the swap costs are, you get paid to go long. That's the whole point of a carry trade. If I press the long button on any yen pair and it doesn't go into some parabolic move, you are guaranteed to make money. So even if you held it for 6 weeks and got out exactly the same price you got in at, you make money. It's beautiful. But you do not short it. You mean shorting? Yeah, no, shorting, no. The Swiss yen is actually not as bad as the rest. It's 13.83, so it's still way too expensive for me. But all the others are up in the 17s, the 20s, the 40s. With 26 there. The pound yen is the worst. That's $40 to short the pound yen. Nah. US yen 30. So I'm not. I would never take a short on it at the moment, but we will see. Morning, Chris. Morning, Callum. Right, so let's quickly look at the indices, what's going on with the indexes this morning. So that DAX is going to be moving off of the news. We've got a spike down. We are really out of confluence at the moment. So normally what happens is when you get a negative move on the currency, you get a positive move in the indices. That's the typical move. So if we get a strong US dollar move, the indices, NASDAQ, Dow, S&P tend to drop. When we get negative news on the euro, the DAX tends to pop. I've noticed very much over the last couple of weeks that isn't happening at the moment. There's a disparity with that confluence of negative, positive, kind of the yin yang between the currency and the index. And it does happen every now and again. You see it. It's they kind of fall out of sync a little bit, and it's happening at the moment. So we've got a little bit of negative move on the DAX there, on that bad euro news. FTSE this morning broke long very nicely out of the pre-market range, which was tiny. So you got a nice move there on the FTSE, but it's pulling back now. So we'll see where that goes. FTSE's coming down hard. Bear in mind, this is going to move later as well. So 9:30 is the news for the pound this morning. So unlikely to be an awful lot of movement. Usually what we tend to do with the indices is sit around until news. So the FTSE's obviously rallied. They're selling off. This DAX is unbelievable. I've lost so much money on the DAX over the last week. It's shocking. This move here. And then yesterday, we got a flag break short yesterday. And it very rarely does that. No indices do this. There's something very, very wrong at the moment. The fact that they're selling this off so hard, I'm not quite sure what it is. It's probably to do with Trump. Obviously, European tariffs potentially coming. So, yes. Nice day yesterday, though. Made 41%. What's the difference with your new ORB? There's too much to go into. It's all covered in the members stream, Linus. No fun giving. There's a document. We were looking at, which is this, which is by the Swiss Financial Institute, which is an analysis of the ORB strategy, Tony Krabel's ORB, which has been around for decades, which is what I trade basically. But an analysis of it based on stocks and volume. So I'm attempting to remodel this because we can't use volume in CFDs. I'm remodeling it using opening range variations of ADR. But I have just discovered a way to mimic, well, not just yesterday, I discovered a way to mimic the way that they measure volume with an average. So I'm going to rebuild this for MT5 so I can do portfolio modeling on it and also I can use volume in a way that will work, because the volume on your broker, the reason you can't use volume with brokers with CFDs, for those that don't know, is because there's no centralized volume. The volume that you see on your chart when you go and look at volume is your broker's volume. Yeah. So this here, this volume is Robo Forex. Yeah. If you go and look at your numbers on your broker, if it's not Robo Forex, these lines will not be the same. They will be similar in the fact that there will be activity. And we're not interested in directional volume here. We're interested in overall volume. So I'm grabbing the volume number, which you can't see because it's down there. You can see it now. I'm grabbing the volume number that is recorded from the broker. And I've found a way to average out this volume over time with specific candles at the open that will allow me to mimic exactly what their research was, so I can test their exact strategy. So it's basically, it's a variation on the ORB that uses stop losses. The variation that I've created here, which we've been doing in the members stream, is incredibly profitable. I'm forward testing it at the moment to make sure that it's doing roughly what it did in the back tests, and it is. So it's generating some serious alpha, but it is very hit and miss. Like all ORB strategies, they don't work like this, and the market spends 70 to 80% of its time doing this. So you only get a 20, the strike rate we've got is sort of 28, 32% roughly, depending on what it is. So it's a roughly 30% strike rate, which means that 3 to 4 days out of 5, you're going to lose. But the days you win, you kill it. So, and you know, if you did the DAX this week, you know about that. So yeah, I'm working on a new variation, but it's quite complex. There's lots of things I need to test. It's going to be one of those projects which kind of needs a lot of time, unfortunately, and a lot of working coding from scratch, really. There's nothing I can really use. I can use this, but I've got to convert to 25, which means starting from scratch anyway, because MT5 is a pile of poo. Anyway, we know about my opinions of MT5. No fun given back a lot of open profit on the euro yen. Got a great MRA entry yesterday. Euro yen? You're not shorting it, are you? You're very brave if you're shorting this. If you're position trading and you're shorting this, you're very brave, because you're paying $26 to hold this thing. You'll never get back to break even. Don't short it, long it. Morning, Peter. Morning, Linus. No, I've already said Linus. Sounds good. For prop firms, yeah. I've got an even better strategy for prop firms, this one. I've done 30% this week on this strategy. It's fantastic. No long, but it dropped this morning. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. On the data. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that will, yeah, obviously it's euro. So I'd wait till the German one comes out, because the German could completely reverse this. Right. Let's look at the zones. We've got the next news coming up in 3 minutes. Wondering, yeah. No, let's look at the zones now. Okay. So someone keep an eye on the euro. I haven't got another platform open. Actually, let's just stick this one over there. There we go. I can watch the euro over here then. There we are. Right, so zones. Yesterday I basically closed out 0.5%. I did post in the Discord group some of those trades. I'm not posting every single trade because it just closes out all the time. So I've done 0.19 this morning, which was pound CAD. That closed out this morning. There we go. So that's target hit. So remember, we were looking to test the propulsion gap and the initial retest of the propulsion move. That was where the sellers were. We hit that, we bounced, and I took it. So out of that, long, and the previous two longs as well was in that propulsion gap. So yeah, looking for a new entry long on that one. We'll get to that one in a minute. Take the zones off. So yeah, so that's all that's banked this morning, 0.19, not an awful lot. Got about 5% drawdown on at the minute. The main problem is the pound US dollar, which I've got shorts on, and we just had a load of good news. So fantastic. But anyway, US dollar CAD's not really in too much trouble. I kind of need to adjust these figures. They're too worrying. I'm not worried about those at those levels. That's exposure. I kind of need to change those as well to 1.5. So symbol, I'm not going to get worried unless we're in more than a couple of percent. 1.5 and half will do. Individual trades, anything over 1.5 and a quarter. That heat map was far too scary for 5% drawdown. It's like going, oh, you need to shut stuff. No, I don't. Need to set those levels. Those I haven't set any defaults. I should have set some defaults. There we go. That's better. They're not that worrying. Even that's 0.5%. I'm not worried about 0.5% of drawdown. That's too aggressive. I'm going to go with 0.75, I think. Yeah, a quarter, 3/4, 1.5, 2.5. That's more like it. I'm not worried about something being in 0.5% of drawdown. So got nice profit on Aussie New Zealand at the minute. That's sitting up at 0.35. So we'll go through all the zones, have a look at everything, and we'll adjust as necessary. Right, so starting off with Aussie dollar CAD, second short taken on that this morning. Euro news has just come out. No movement. Well, not on the euro pound anyway. Let's look at euro US. A little bit of bull move on that one. So it looks like the German numbers came out positive, which will cancel out the negative French. Yeah. So manufacturing's up 1. That's cars. So that's good. Unless Trump puts 25% tariff on cars, that will be irrelevant. And on target on services. So it's kind of mixed. It's a little bit more, I would say, bearish than bullish, but it's kind of interim, sort of middle-y ground. So well, the euro could go either way from there, really. Look at the size of that spread. Look at it. Massive. Yeah, so that could go either way, the euro from there. Looks like they want to resell it at the minute. Yeah. We'll come back to the euro in a bit. Right, so Aussie dollar CAD, second short taken at the highs. So this is where I had the previous zone set. So we're rejecting that, which is nice. So looking for a push back down. Just going to adjust target on this. Not up there. It's not a bad area to get out, is it? So if this high is going to hold, there's a good possibility of coming down to test these lows. We've got this little area here as well previously, but this is the most recent zone that we've been selling at. So we've been selling. We hit it, we sold again, and then we broke through. Buyers took control, sellers flipped long, they added off. So if we're going to hit this and find resistance, that's where we're going to find the next batch of buyers. So that's the short target. Upside short is going in. That's too close. So this is one whacking great propulsion gap there. Oh, I'm going to have to go back fair old way. God, I can't even get there with 1,000 candles. That's a really old propulsion gap. I'm not even going to bother, I don't think. I'm going to have to go back 1,500 candles to even see the thing. So this propulsion gap is double tested at the moment. We sold it, held the level, came back, new spike, sold it. This is the obvious spot that we will find resistance at. We're in a downtrend on it, long term, but short term, obviously, it's all over the place. So this is an area I would expect to find some resistance. I was hoping that that was all going to be a propulsion gap, but it's not, which is why I wanted to put the indicator on. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to target this area here. Really, it doesn't really matter. I just want to get a new trade on somewhere. This is the obvious spot. I've only got 2 on it actually, so yeah, I'm going to go with that. If it goes fine, we're probably. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use the old supply demand thing. We're going to go here. I don't think this level's really particularly exciting, but it's the only thing we've got at the minute. So this high, all these highs basically, we know are resistance. This is a massive propulsion move to the downside. So this is the origin of that move. So if the sellers that took control here are still in the market, they will be adding into their positions at that point. So I'm just going to basically go with this area here, which is where we sold from, and use that as the next level to the upside. So it's sort of around about there somewhere. That'll do. There's not a lot else I can do with that one. It's a bit of a mess. It's probably going to come down before it gets there anyway. Aussie dollar Swiss, looking for longs, can't get in, so got out the last long on that this week. I can't really get in. So we're coming off the highs at the moment. So this is still really where I want to buy it. I want to see us try and form a range up here at the minute. So I'm just going to leave that where it is. I'm not going to get greedy with it. Aussie New Zealand shorts on. That's coming to target today. So hopefully that one will hit target today, which is the lows. Aussie dollar, US dollar have shorts on. Next zone is here. So it's this high and these lows up here. So somewhere in there, I'm looking for some sellers. Bit of a mess in the middle, but that's all we got. So there is an argument actually now, today. We've already tested it, haven't we? No, I'm going to leave it where it is. I was going to say there's an argument for testing yesterday's high, but we've already tested it twice and rejected it. So if we get up there again, it'll probably break it. So I'm not going to use that as a short. I just wanted to see when that was, which was yesterday's high. So leave that where it is. CAD Swiss, longs on, hasn't gone anywhere all week. Euro odd, looking for shorts. So let's go back down here now. Previous lows, basically, support, broke it, resistance. If we get back up there, I'll sell it. Euro CAD have 2 shorts on. They've just rebought that propulsion move from yesterday. but we are selling the previous propulsion move they have added to 3 times. So this is your battle zone at the moment. Yesterday's propulsion buys and the previous sellers. So we'll see. Market structure is a bit of a mess on this one. We're all over the place, just sort of up and down all over here. So this is where I think we're probably going to come to. This is where I had the zone. You can see the zone is in lilac there because it's been used. So this is where I had the previous sell, which triggered yesterday. So I need a new sell on that, and the previous sell is going to be where I thought it was going before, which is somewhere up into this propulsion gap. So I'm just going to highlight the whole thing. This is my next sell level, so it won't trigger there. So I need to go up a little bit. So I'm just going to use this high here, which is where they sold that propulsion leg. So that is where I'm selling. Hopefully, though, it's just going to break down from here and the euro is going to collapse, which would be nice. Not if you live in Europe, but I don't. Well, I do, but I don't use the euro. So yeah, shorts. And obviously this is your previous resistance area, turn support. So there is potential for an exit there, but I'll see where we go today. If this euro is going to really weaken off the news today, we could well flush down. Don't forget we got the CAD news as well. So there's obviously a lot of catalysts today. The Canadian dollar, if they get massive retail gains today, the Canadian dollar is going to drive the euro CAD down. So there's lots of opportunity. The euro is really not moving at the minute. So I'll leave that where it is at the minute. Euro Swiss got long on at the moment. Second long is down here. Didn't quite get to it earlier. May get to it today. Euro pound, I was looking for shorts. Can't get it on. So this is now, this area here is now your new support resistance zone. Too close. So I'm looking for a pullback on this leg basically to enter short. Euro New Zealand, got out the shorts on this one yesterday. So I need new shorts. So yeah, we got market structures bearish. So looking for a drop down into somewhere down here. So short entry, kind of like it where it is really, to be honest. There's a propulsion gap there. So this propulsion gap is been retested. There's a propulsion gap here. So I'm going to see if we can retest that propulsion gap, which is these lows. So that's where we broke those lows for the second time. So that's where I'm going to sell it. Euro US, just taken a new sell on that one. So I need a new sell. There's the highs. And target to the downside. Gonna leave it where it is for the minute. The thing that's scuppering this at the moment is Trump. He's just destroying the US dollar. So the US dollar is just so unbelievably weak with him in charge at the minute. I'm hoping he's going to say something that is actually going to rally the US, because at the moment all he seems to be doing is destroying the US economy and making everything more expensive for the US people, alienating all of his allies in Europe and basically becoming a Putin. So I can't see how the US dollar will ever power up unless he changes his stance. But at the minute, it's one of those things I'm watching very closely. And if my exposure is too high on the dollar, I will be getting out with break evens, because I don't have any faith in the US at the minute, in any strength coming through, unless he changes his mind on something, because everything he's doing is just making it more expensive to be in America. And obviously the dollar is going to collapse because spending is not going to happen if people haven't got any money. So it's going to take a big shift. And if that big shift comes, the dollar will really go, because I think everybody is at the moment doing the same thing. It's like, I'd love to buy the dollar, but you're not making it easy, Mr. Trump. So I think if he does change his stance on stuff, then we will get a big spike. But at the minute, he's more interested in becoming a fascist. So there's another Nazi salute, wasn't there, by one of the Americans at a press conference last night, one of Elon's friends. So it's all becoming a bit weird, isn't it? It's like we're now allowed to use the Nazi salute. Do you not remember World War II? Just because we've paid off our debts from World War II now doesn't mean you need to start a new one to get us into more debt. And you won't win this one because China and Russia are bigger than you. So let's just calm down, everybody. Anyway, but long pound odd. I was watching an interesting documentary the other day, just on a tangent, about the size of the Chinese military compared to the US military, and the size of the UK military compared to everybody else's military. And basically the statistics on the amount of ships, weapons, aircraft and soldiers that we have as a comparison now back to World War II is basically, if the UK had to go to war now, we would be dead and out of soldiers within 90 days, because we haven't got any military anymore. The size of our military compared to most other countries, because our defence spending has been cut, means that if we sent every soldier to the front line now, the war would be over within 2 months, because we haven't got any more. Unless you call up the entire UK population, which isn't going to happen, because Gen Z said only 11% of them would go to war. But anyway, the Chinese Air Force and Navy is 4 times the size of Americans. And if they wanted to, with one single strike within 24 hours, could take out pretty much the entire US naval fleet. Even though they have the biggest carriers, they still sink. So new wars, if they did start, and this is where I don't get Trump being so aggressive with everything at the minute, is the Americans think that they're massive. They're not. They are very tiny now in the world stage. They may have the world's biggest currency, but for the rest of the stuff, they're way, 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 way behind. So this stance that he's got now is very different to where he was when he was in power 4 years ago. With the world is a different place. We've had COVID since then. World economies have changed. Everything has shifted now. Everything we buy is made in the BRICS countries. Yeah. If you alienate, Mr. Trump, all of Europe by saying, screw you guys, we're pulling out of NATO, we're not funding over there anymore, we pay for your own wars. If it does kick off, we ain't going to help you, mate. And look at World War II. If you didn't come over and help us, we'd have lost. If you get into trouble, screw you. And all of those countries are just on the other side. So if it does kick off, we've got a massive ocean between us. Remember what you said? We've got a massive ocean between you as well. Anyway, there's my political bit. It was a really interesting documentary I was watching as to world power, because you assume that the US is like the free world, yeah, and like they are not as powerful as they think they are. China have got some unbelievable weaponry that there is nothing that can stop it. And the same with the Russians. They've got the nukes. You can't stop them. Yeah, when that thing comes out of orbit, because it goes up into orbit, the nuclear missile, when it comes down and shoots its 18 warheads, that's America gone. Yeah, so you stop pissing about. I can see why he wants to be a friend with Putin, can you? I wouldn't want those nukes pointed at me. Anyway, longs on pound odd. On a happy note, longs on the pound odd at the moment. No idea where to get into the downside, because literally, if we break this low, somewhere around there, we're going to find a long. So I've got a whacking great zone to the downside, and as soon as we get some bearish price action, I'll get in. But hopefully won't need it, and we're just going to come up and retest the highs and exit. Pound CAD out of the long this morning, so I need a new long on this. It's a very tricky one. That's the nicest looking area of support resistance, but there's a lot of them. Yeah, you could look at this recent area here. It's not very clean, but this area here definitely is previous sellers getting overwhelmed and then turning into buyers. So that's where the buy zone is for me, and that's also a fairly nice 38 retracement on the entire up leg we've had for the last 2 weeks. So that looks like a good area to buy if we can get there. We'll see how far we get into this propulsion gap. There's a chance that this might just grind all the way to complete the propulsion gap and then will start a leg down, and I will just go with it. Try and get in long at some point. Pound Swiss have a buy on. Next buy's in place. Target to the upside is this propulsion here. So looking for this massive propulsion gap to be tested. Pound US dollar, fourth short on that. That's your next area of resistance, and then there's one just after it as well here, but that's going to be too close, so we'll see where we go. This is a hell of a move. We haven't pulled back on it, we've accumulated, and quite often when you get these accumulations, that's kind of like a mini flag break, so there's a good chance it will get up there. Again, no power at all, and what have we just got? A load of good news on the pound, so we will see. New Zealand CAD. Wealth Awakening, thank you for saying that. Yes, very weird. We don't think the only orange dude we don't think that only the orange dude thinks that we don't want any of this mess. Yeah, there's a lot of people. I watched didn't watch, I was on Facebook. I follow Donald Trump on Facebook. I follow loads of politicians on Facebook, actually, just because it interests me specifically with Trump, what he says on social media, because obviously he engages that before he engages that 95% of the time. So it's interesting seeing it coming out in real time, what he's saying. And that one massive post he made, which was a massive dialogue about how Zelensky's a comedian and he's ruined it and he's a dictator and all that sort of stuff, the one that he posted, there was, I think at the time I looked at it, there's something like 50,000 comments on there. And I was scrolling through the comments, and all the massive Trump supporters hate what he said. They completely disagree with what he said. Everybody everywhere else completely disagrees with what he said. It's the first post I've ever seen from Trump where his own supporters, who are fanatical, turned on him. And his opinion poll rating has collapsed. He said Zelensky's opinion poll rating was 4%. It's not. It's 57%. Yours is under 50%. So he's calling him a dictator that isn't elected and isn't popular. It's completely the opposite way around. It's like he's just flipped every fact upside down. It's crazy, isn't it? But his own people now are turning on him. So this is what I mean. This US dollar at the minute, I don't know what he's doing. I really don't know what he's doing, but he's ruining the dollar. And he's ruining the economy. And if you're going to make America great again, you need people to have money. You are taking all of their money away. You are making all of their businesses charge them more. And that's why the dollar is weak. If he flips on that, it will undo everything. Everything that the dollar has been doing since he's been in weak, it will all just disappear within days. And that dollar will scream to the upside. So I'm struggling to see where this is all coming from him, but knowing Trump, there's probably some little master plan underneath where he's been buying the dollar, or his people have been buying the dollar, or his kids have been buying the crap out of the dollar for weeks, waiting for him to turn around and go, right, we're not doing tariffs. What we're going to do is we're going to remove tariffs from everybody that imports to us. Go. And bang, that dollar will scream through to the upside and he'll make another couple of billion. Would you put it past him? No. Do you think Elon's doing the same thing? Probably. Yeah, got a little core of multi-billionaires, basically, holding 10% of the wealth of America, who can manipulate the US dollar. Think about it. It's a conspiracy theory, but someone's got to move it. Anyway, we'll see. You only have to comment on immigration, and I'll vote for you to run the country. Yes. Do you know what my plan is for immigration? You'll love this, right? What we do is we train all of the unemployed youth that we have at the moment in the UK, of which there's a lot of, right? We train them all to become scuba divers, yeah? And we build a big platform underneath the English Channel with a load of cables attached to it. And we attach all these youths to the cable with their scuba gear on, and we give them a spike, right? And this is on the French side of the English Channel. And every time a boat comes over, they pop it. But they make sure, obviously, there's a Coast Guard from the French side close, but they pop it. But so they never get far enough over the English Channel, and they get rescued by the French, not by the English. Problem solved. We've got a load of unemployed people. We're paying a load of money. Yeah, we could give them a skill, which they could again go off and work in the oil industry to do all of the deep sea diving for the oil platforms, and we just give them a spiky stick. It's the easiest solution, surely. Anyway, so New Zealand, my God, I do make myself laugh. Unfortunately, nobody else. Looking for longs. We're getting close to the highs now. So I got out the last long yesterday on that. So we're looking for a re-entry on this. It's a bit of a tricky one to get back into. This is obviously the previous resistance. We kind of flip-flopped around it before we broke it. So this is a quite small pullback, but it is a decent pullback on that leg. So I'm going to leave it there. Look for these lows to be retested. So either these highs here, these lows double bottoming, or those highs acting as support. So somewhere around that area, we'll see if we can try and grab a long. New Zealand dollar Swiss, same thing. I'm leaving this where it is at the moment. This is really struggling to go higher at the minute, and it's really kind of very, very weak range bound channel to the upside. So I'm going to see if we can get somewhere down here and then just buy it. The Swissy could rally very quick. Obviously, the Swiss will get a lot of money coming into it if anything happens with the US as well. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, new short taken. So next short. That's too close. So next short is going to be here. We've got these couple of little price discovery moves to the downside, but that's really where it was held. And then when we broke through, that's where they re-added the shorts in. So somewhere around there is kind of the next short area. Target to the downside, I'm going to move up because it is US dollar. So I just want to be out of the US dollar. I don't want to hold it forever because I don't want too much exposure on at the moment. But I'm going to go with something very conservative on this here and here. That is probably the more likely area of support, and we haven't actually tested this area yet. However, if the US is going to remain weak, we could even get down to there. You know, this is this sort of scenario with the US at the moment. I'd be happy to get out with a tiny loss on this one because I've got 3 positions on it and it's not working because you know, it's difficult to call what the hell he's going to do next, isn't it? US dollar CAD stuck, totally stuck. 3 positions on this. I've had 3 positions on it for the entire month, basically, 4th of February. It's just not gone anywhere. We had a news event, nothing. A news event, nothing. And it did make a new high on Wednesday, and then yesterday we collapsed back down again into the range. If we can break this propulsion gap, we're going to make it back up into this accumulation. If we can get into that accumulation, I'm done. So I'm just going to move my target down on this. I've had it up in that propulsion gap for ages, but I just don't want to risk it anymore. I want out because if you've been in a trade for 3 weeks or so and it's not gone anywhere, the trade's not working, is it? So there's my break even. That just gets me some money a little bit. Just one out, basically. A news event. I just need 1 news event to create a new spike and pretty much done. We're just not getting any news. It's, you know, at the minute, it's stuck. US dollar Swiss have re-added the buy. So this buy that I took off on Wednesday in profit has been re-added at the lows. So this is the area I was looking to target. So I got an itchy nose again today. Don't know why. So this was the area I initially was looking to long. I longed it. I decided to take some off. We came back down. So I've re-longed it at the double bottom low, which is now a triple bottom. So this is either now going to collapse down and we're going to look for a new area to the downside. That's too close, I think. Yeah. So it's there. So ignore this kind of gap issue there, but we had a little bit of uncertainty, but this is definitely a previous resistance turn support. So this is where the buyers are. This is old though. This is going back to December, so it may not even be valid, but that's where I am. Moving target down into recent highs and propulsion. So that'll be my exit. And my pound yen, which I'm long, and I need a target. So how brave are we? Coming off resistance, isn't it? So if it breaks that, so this double top we've got today, if we pull back into propulsion and add, we're going to break that high, which is going to come and test this area here. So I'm going to be conservative because it's yen. It's my first foray into the yen for a while. So I'm not going to get greedy. I'm just going to take it off there. Obviously this could completely fly, but we'll see. There we go. So that's all the zones done. I need a new buy as well. That's an easy one. Down those lows will be second entry. There we go. That's all the zones done. I agree with everything you have said. We don't want war or anything. He lies all the time. I don't think he lies. I think he just doesn't know what he's doing. I just don't know what he's doing. I don't think he knows what he's doing, does he? He's ruining everything. I didn't vote for him. He's awful. It's funny, isn't it? It's a real divide in the US. It's kind of like a 50-50, isn't it? Which is difficult. It's the same as we had with Brexit, isn't it? It was 51-49. It's a real difficult one, but who knows? All he cares about is his pockets. This is the thing. If you had billions, we were talking about this the other night. If I was Elon Musk, right? Yes, I would do what he's doing with SpaceX. Let's make the planet great. Let's explore space. Let's put backup plans in for when we blow it up. Let's do all the stuff that he's doing with SpaceX. But I would also be sitting on a billionaire's yacht on a desert island half the year because I'm a billionaire. And I would say, right, here you go. Here's 2 million a year. Run SpaceX for me. Here's 5 million a year. Run Tesla for me. That's what I'd be doing. Not getting into politics. Just use your money for good. Do what Bill Gates did, yeah? Go, screw this. If I wanted to buy 100 super yachts a day, I would still make more money in interest than I spend on 100 super yachts a day. I physically can't spend all this money. Here you go, world, have it. Yeah? And he's still a multi-millionaire, probably. But I don't know what he is now, but he's got enough. Yeah. Going into politics and becoming the next Hitler, probably not my choice. But anyway, everybody's different, aren't they? To be serious for a moment, the French could start 98% of the boats before they even leave the beach. They just don't want to. Could stop 98% of the boats. Yeah, they could. They don't want to. But would you, if let's flip it on the other side, right? We've got a load of immigrants that land in England from Scotland. I can't think of anywhere you get to the England. Irish, people from the Isle of Wight, I don't know. You could get them all basically into our country. And if they all wanted to go and live in France, would we stop them from going to France? No, because we don't want them here. You don't want them anywhere, do you? Unfortunately, these people are just misplaced and they can't go back to their own countries, but no one else wants them because we're all stuffed, we're all screwed, we're all financially in hell at the minute because of COVID. And, you know, it's just a crisis, isn't it? What do you do? Oh, hang on a minute. Is there anybody on the planet that's got more wealth than everybody else put together that could possibly buy an island and stick them all there and pay for everything for them? Don't know. Possibility, isn't it? We find retail traders master one strategy, but you believe there's a success in running multiple strategies across different markets, across their own accounts. Yeah. Right. So, Herc, who are these retail traders that have mastered one strategy? And show me their consistently profitable P&Ls for the last 2 years. Can you find any of them? Enough said. Yeah. If you can consistently master a strategy, I do not disagree with that. Yeah. Opening range breakout strategy. If you master ORB and you trade ORB, great. You'll do very well with it. But if you want to pay yourself, and Nasdaq's just taken off, all US indices are just spiked. Oh no, they haven't. S&P and the Nas just had a little spike there. If you trade a strategy, there's only 3 strategies. Yeah, there's only 3 strategies that exist. I don't care how many retail traders there are out there that have their master one strategy, but they are all only trading 3 strategies because there are only 3 strategies. Yeah, there is 3 strategies and there are 2 money management techniques. That's it. There is nothing else. Yeah, so you can master one strategy and be very good at it. But when the market regime is incorrect for the strategy, it won't make money. So you can sit there and long-term master a strategy as long as you're not paying yourself. If you want to pay yourself, you need to have multiple strategies that work in all market regimes so that you've got consistent income. Yeah. And that's the bit that you don't see. That's why I do what I do, because I need to pay myself as well. And you can't do that with a single strategy. If you are trading a mean reversion strategy that uses ranges and all the markets you trade go into a trend for 3 weeks, you do not make money for 3 weeks, which is fine because the market will go back into a market regime, will go back into range at some point, and you will then recoup those losses and make money. But as long as you've got enough money in the bank to not have to worry about this being your income, that's fine. Also, if you're doing this part-time and you don't rely on it as an income, that's absolutely fine as well, isn't it? A lot of people use trading as a part-time income or as an additional income revenue stream, which is absolutely fine as well, because you don't need to consistently pay yourself, do you? So, but there's no one out there that is trading one strategy that is consistently profitable every month. And all these people that you see on YouTube that are claiming all of this, it's not real. It's not happening. But there's a few that are. But they are few, yeah? Of the 100,000 people selling you something online, there's 10 of them. Small handful. Very, very small handful. Go and look at things like Top Step. Yeah, if you go and look at Top Step and look at Top Step's top traders, the top 20 traders that earn money in Top Step, you think, oh, look at those guys, they're killing it. You know, there's 20,000 traders, and you're looking at 20 that make it. That means there's 19,980 people out there that are just paying Top Step £39 a month or £79 a month or whatever they're paying a month to give the money to these 20. And those 20 change. You look at the leaderboards, they change constantly. There's nobody that stays at the top all the time. In fact, there's 3 of them. Do you know what? They work for Top Step. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm just long in the tooth. I don't know. I've been doing this for 18 years now, and I've seen everything. And I see the same thing come round every few years in a different form. I've done a video on it on the website. Go and watch this video on the website. It's not an eye-opener. It just explains what happens in this industry, and it's important because this is what you are doing. You don't know it because the marketing is clever, but you don't know you're buying the same thing over and over again. If I said to you, go out and buy some eggs today, go and buy some hen eggs today, and you get the hen eggs, you eat the hen eggs, and say, now you need to go and buy chicken eggs, and now you need to go and buy quail eggs, and now you need to go and buy these eggs, now you need to buy blue eggs, now you need to buy red eggs, now you need to buy black eggs, now you need to you're buying eggs. You're still buying eggs. There's an amount of protein in there. There's a yolk and a white, and there's a shell around it. Yeah, doesn't matter how many colors there are, how many varieties there are, and what I call them, it's the same thing. And it's the same with trading strategies. There's 3 trading strategies. If you've ever bought or tried a Bollinger Band strategy, an RSI strategy, a CCI strategy, or a MACD strategy, if you've tried all 4 of those, you've tried the same thing. It's called mean reversion. But you've bought it 4 times. Who's the idiot? You don't know it, but you are, because you've bought the same thing 4 times. The market is binary. It goes up and down, right? When it goes up, there are indicators that will indicate it's gone up. I can see it on my chart. It's gone up, so sell it. Which of these you use has nothing to do with making money. It has to do with pressing a button which will either give you a binary result of a positive or a negative. So go and buy as many strategies as you want that use oscillators, but you're buying the same strategy called mean reversion. If you've ever bought a breakout strategy, the London breakout strategy, the opening range breakout strategy, the Asian session strategy, the blah, blah, blah strategy, the 5-bar contraction strategy, the Bollinger Band contraction strategy. The Bollinger Band's the best indicator in the world, isn't it? Because you can mean revert it and you can break out from it. There's 6 I've just named, which I've just made up, but they're breakout strategies. One strategy. There's a trend strategy that uses market structure. There's a trend strategy that uses Elliott wave. There's a trend strategy that uses a moving average. There's a trend strategy that uses a moving average cross. There's a trend strategy that uses an alligator indicator. There's a trend strategy that uses a triple moving average system. What are they? A moving average trend strategy. It's a trend strategy. Trend, mean reversion, breakout. That's all it exists. Binary movement up and down. Your job is to wrap risk around movement of price. Yeah, this video explains that. You're just buying the same crap over and over again. Anybody that is using one strategy to trade and make consistent profit with is not telling you the whole truth, because if they're a trend trader, their strike rate is 30%, which means 70% of the time they're losing. If they're showing you the 70% of the losers, fine. If they're not, it's not real. The market spends 70 to 80% of its time in balance and accumulation before it breaks out into price discovery, which will either fail or continue to work. This happens 20 to 30% of the time. This happens 70 to 80% of the time. Why do you think my main strategy is mean reversion? Because I want to be right 80% of the time. That's how you make money, being right more often than not. You know, it's all risk reward ratios. What's the strike rate of your indicator? 70%. Fantastic, that must make money. No, because it only makes 1 pip when it makes 70%. When it loses 30%, it loses 500 pips. I can make anything look good. It's not about looking good, is it? The idea that each strategy has periods of drawdowns, which we don't know, and the other accounts bring up the overall P&L. Yeah, exactly. So glad I stumbled across this live today. Make sure you don't fall over. I knew I struck gold. Been working on different systems to fit different market regimes, relying on one strategy. Yeah. Exactly. Look at this. I mean, this version of the ORB that I've got running. If you look at the days, the last, I don't know, 10 days or so on it. Let me just move. Look at the last 10 days. 17% loss over the last 10 days. But this is a breakout strategy. This breakout strategy strike rate is 28%. Yeah? Look how many winners I've got in there. This is 10 days. 2. What's the strike rate? 28%. What's that mean? 7 out of 10 days are going to be losers. What have I got here? 2 losers out of 2 winners out of 10. So my strike rate is actually less than that. It's 20% on the last 10 days. But the last 10 days is just the last 10 days, isn't it? Yeah, the overall strike rate on it, this last 10 days has been ever so slightly below par. But that is normal. Totally normal. It's expected. It's been back tested. It's been robustness tested. We know that it's going to lose the majority of the time. We built the strategy in full knowledge that it's going to lose the majority of the time because it's a breakout strategy. The market spends 80% of its time doing that. Breakouts are normally failed breakouts, which forms wider ranges. The only time a breakout works is when it goes into a trend. These days, we kill it. Now, other days, I will show you a 10-day P&L, and it will have 70% winning days. And we will be making 110%. Or what, it doesn't matter what the numbers are, does it? It's irrelevant. What is happening is it's following the back test. We know this. So, if, for example, you get 6 weeks where the stock indices do not move because something's happened, or there are no earnings, or I don't know, just whatever reason, which it happens, yeah, you get 6 weeks of markets just not moving very much. Every single one of those days, bar a couple, is going to be a losing day. Your P&L is going to be terrible. And you will jump to another strategy because it doesn't work. It does work long term, but short term, it's going to have lots of dips. Your P&L should move like the market. It should do that. Peaks and troughs all over the place. If you start a strategy here and it doesn't work, you'll move on to the next one. It's what we call system hopping, isn't it? Yeah. If you start a strategy here, you'll go, this is the best thing since sliced bread. You'll over leverage on it, and all of a sudden it will do that, and you'll lose the account, and you'll be like, oh, I thought that was good, but it's not. It is. You just haven't let it run for a year because that's where the edge is. The edge of this strategy is not daily or weekly. The edge of this strategy is yearly. It generates alpha, positive income over a long period of time. But people can't wait for that to happen. They have to have it now. The Lamborghini mentality that all the guys on YouTube are selling you. Do you think they got their Lamborghinis and their Porsches through trading? No, they sold you courses. I know, I've been there. What are the 3 strategies, ways I can read up on them? Oh, I've answered that question already. I've already heard this theory before. The majority of the strategies essentially fall under 3 or 4 components: trend, mean reversion, momentum. Yeah, momentum is a breakout strategy. Think about what the market's doing. If you look at any chart, right? Any chart, any time frame, doesn't matter what the time frame is, doesn't matter what the chart is. What's this thing doing at the moment? Ranging. It's going up and down. As long as it does that, if I sell when it gets up and I buy when it gets down, I cannot lose. It's not possible for me to lose money. If I sold it here, 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 and here, when it did that, I made money. If it did that, you'd be dead. But that's what we're saying, isn't it? You sell it when it goes high and you buy it when it goes low. It's very simple. Warren Buffett has been doing it for decades. He's one of the richest investors on the planet. He's the richest investor on the planet. But he doesn't trade, he invests. It's a very big difference. But the methodology is exactly the same, risk and reward. So all you're doing when the market is like this is you're buying and selling. But you talk to somebody else on another channel and they will be going, this is trending like a beast at the moment. No, it's not. It was trending yesterday, but it's trended up to the highs. Yeah. So the time frame that you trade is going to give you a completely different outlook. Everybody that is a trend trader yesterday who was trend trading made money because the market structure was long and it continued long all day. You could not lose money. If you were a mean reversion trader yesterday, you got absolutely destroyed. But that's your fault because you're trading algorithmic chop. Don't trade algorithmic chop unless you want to get killed, because if the market ranges, there isn't a range day here. So this is a great example. If you're a mean reversion trader on the euro US dollar this week, your P&L is blood red. If you're a trend trader on the euro US dollar this week, your P&L is bright green. What's it going to be next week? No idea. What's the euro US dollar going to do next week? Unless you've got a time machine, you don't know what to do next week. That's trading. Yeah, there isn't a strategy that works all the time. However, when you go up to higher time frames, everything becomes a little bit more obvious, doesn't it? Yeah. So our job is to survive when the market regime is incorrect and exit with a profit or a break even as many times as we can when we're wrong. When we're right, we just keep on being right. So right now, I am mean reverting this. If it breaks out, I will have to survive the trend until the trend ends. When the trend ends, the market will take profit on the leg that it's created. And when it creates that leg, I will exit with either a break even or a small profit. But what I will not do is take a loss, because there's no point in taking a loss because you don't know how to read the future. And that's what every strategy out there is trying to teach you, to read the future. If you haven't got a time machine, you can't read the future. So stop trying. Just get into the market, press a button, wait for the market to move. If it goes your way, you bank the profit. If it doesn't, you scale in and you hold it and you survive. If you get to a point where you're like, holy crap, there's no way I can survive this anymore because it's got to 6% in drawdown, you shut it. But give the market the chance to prove you wrong for 6 weeks before you get to that level. The problem is everybody wants to get in with 1% risk. Nuts. If you take 1% risk and you're wrong, immediately within 10 minutes, you're crapping your pants because this thing's moved up twice as far as you had your risk and you're sitting in 2% of drawdown on your account. If you do that 3 times a day, you've lost 10% of your account within half an hour. What? Why would you do that? There's no bank or institution on the planet that has ever done that. And they make money every day. Why do you think they do that? Because it's the right thing to do, not the wrong thing to do. There's no hedge fund or pension fund that risks 1% on a move. Nuts. However, if you want to double your account very quick, you can do that. Yeah, it's very easy to do it, but don't expect to do it all the time. This account here that I've been trading in the live room while I've been testing out my dashboard has made 31% this week. It won't do that every week. I'm up 55% on the account. Lovely. Up 12% today. But it's risking ridiculous amounts of money. And the market regime is correct. So we've been rangy all week. Therefore, it's been killing it all week. If every one of these instruments I'm trading now goes into a parabolic trend for 3 days, this account is gone. That's gambling. That's not trading. But gambling's fun. Yeah, lots of different reasons people trade. You don't have to do it for a living. You can do it for fun. You can do it for a pension fund. You can do it to fund your holidays. You can do it to fund whatever you want to fund. But if you're going to do it as a living and you're going to make money out of it, you are not going to master one strategy, and you are not going to just use that one strategy, because that one strategy will not be consistent. And tack on top of that the fact that interest rate differentials change, market regimes change based on economic factors such as COVID and world factors rather, such as COVID and things. The market we're trading now, the ADRs that we have in place now, are completely different to what they were pre-COVID. Pre-COVID, you will have struggled to find any instrument here that was less than 100 pips ADR, right? Now you're struggling to find something that is 100 pips ADR. If you were trading a strategy 3-4 years ago that used a 20 pip stop loss, right now you're getting stopped out within a day. Back then you were getting stopped out within 10 minutes. Your strategy is either going to speed up or slow down depending on average daily range and momentum. This is why we use ADR and we do not use pips. Pips are never mentioned. There's nothing in any dashboard here that has pips on it. Never will do, because pips are irrelevant. Market movement and average ranges are what makes us consistently profitable, because we adapt to market movement and market ranges. You can't do that if you're using pips. Just there's just a million myths out there, isn't there? And it's not until you've done everything that you understand it's all a load of bollocks. All a load of bollocks. Yeah, I've heard this theory before. The majority of strategies fall under 3-4. Yeah, I've worked on that. Do you have a list somewhere of which assets markets are more effective depending on momentum breakout? No. Think about what you're saying. I can give you. I can get that data for you. You can get that data yourself very easily. Go and run a mean reversion strategy on all instruments. See which one's more profitable. That answers your question, yeah? Doesn't it? Which assets markets are more effective depending on momentum, breakout, or mean reversion on trending strategies? Run a mean reversion strategy on every instrument. The ones that make the most money are the ones that in the past have been best. The problem is, what's going to happen in the future? Look at the US dollar yen. This is a great example, the US dollar yen. What is the US dollar yen? Is it a trend instrument or is it a range instrument? Ask somebody from April 2021 to July 2022, and he will tell you it's a trend instrument. This is Euro US dollar, not the yen. I'll show you the yen in a minute. Ask somebody from January 2023 until October 2024, and he'll tell you it's a range instrument. So which were you, a trend trader or a mean reversion trader on the Euro US dollar yen then? And what were you there? And if you switch to mean reversion now, because that's what it's done for the last 4 years, and this thing now goes into a parabolic trend, what are you going to do? Lose every penny in your account because you cannot see the future. Look how tight and contracted this accumulation is. Mean reversion quadrupled my account. Mean reversion blew my account 10 times over. Sorry. Go away. Yeah, you cannot use the same strategy there and there because the strategy worked there and it didn't work there, or it didn't work there and it did work there, one or the other. But you run a trend strategy alongside a mean reversion strategy. The trend strategy will hemorrhage cash. The mean reversion will kill it. There, the mean reversion will hemorrhage cash. The trend strategy will kill it. But you can adapt to this if you understand fundamentals. The Euro US dollar is moved based on fundamentals. If the fundamentals for the euro are poor and the fundamentals for the US dollar are strong, the Euro US dollar will come down. If interest rate differentials are 0, it will go sideways. What were the interest rate differentials here between the two currencies? 0. What happened? Sideways. Then what happened? The euro started dropping interest rates. Really? It's not difficult. It's just people don't understand what moves the market, how it moves, and they don't understand that there isn't something on the planet that draws a squiggly line on your chart or pings an alert box or draws an arrow on your chart that can predict the future. As soon as you understand that, you suddenly make it very, very simple. You buy it, you sell it, you see what happens. You scale in, you move your price, and you wait. That's trading. That's what banks, institutions, and money managers have been doing for centuries. They're never going to stop doing it because it's the only way to make money out the markets. Dropping down to this time frame and fingers crossed, hoping, pressing a button that you don't get stopped out, ain't going to work. It will do short term, but long term, there are that many people that can do that. And there's something wired up there that they can do that 90% of people can't. Same as athletes, yeah? Who wanted to be a footballer when they were a kid? Pretty much everybody at school. Who actually became a footballer? Nobody I know. Yet there are hundreds, thousands of professional footballers out there, yeah? But there are millions of wannabe professional footballers that are not professional footballers. Same way as there are a couple of traders out there that make a load of money in specific ways, but you can't copy them because you're not wired the same. But if you wire yourself the same way as the market moves, you can't fail, because if you know how the market moves and you know where the market's going to go, because you've seen the market do the same thing over and over again, if you just expect the market to repeat what it's done in the past, it usually will. You just don't know when it's going to do it. Timing is the thing you cannot do as a trader. Timing is the thing that every system or strategy tries to give you. Remove the timing, remove the stop loss, and just let the market move up and down, and you make money. It's very simple. But that's not a course, is it? Well, it is. It's called the Bootcamp, and it's on my website. It's totally free. But you can't make money selling something that's not a trading strategy, is it? I've got a strategy which involves indicators. I use the market reversal alert indicator and a relative strength index indicator to tell me that there's something could potentially happen. But what I don't do is place an order in the market to get me out at a loss if it doesn't happen. What I do is change my price and wait for it to do it, because it will, because in the past it's never not done it. Every time there's a move in the market that is exponentially huge beyond all wildest dreams, it will retrace 50% of it. Every time. Go and find me a chart in history that has never had a 50% retracement on it. You can't, because it has never happened. Minimum 38, but 100% retracement. Minimum 50%, 100% retracement. Minimum 50%, 100% retracement. You have to survive that to get your money. This is an absolute parabolic mess that I got killed in and lost 11% of my account. Actually, I lost 9% of my account and then got 11% back. It was up here, actually. But there are times when the market will do something that it's never done before. Those are the times you're going to lose, because if you cannot mathematically backtest a scenario, you cannot survive it. If you're small enough, you probably can. But you ain't going to make money. You're going to lose money when it does this. And as I said, last year was my worst year ever. I made money. But it's my worst year ever. I had multiple parabolic trends, which I could not benefit from financially. But it doesn't mean I didn't make money. And the reason I made money is because I did not risk a fortune every time the market moved in a direction. Because I'm not trying to get it right. I'm trying to make money out of it. It's about sitting in it. This thing here, you know, it's only a fun play account, but this thing here was sitting in 16% drawdown this morning. It's now sitting in 2.45 and it's banked 12. Why? Because the market's moved. Funny that, isn't it? It does it every single day, weirdly. Moves up and down. So if you get in and get out when it moves up and down, you end up generating that. If you get in, place a stop loss, and it moves down and then moves up, you lose money. Shit. Why did nobody teach me this on day one of trading camp? Because most of the trading camps or courses are created by brokers, and brokers make money when you press the button, when you have a swap, when you have a spread. So you press the button, they make a spread or a commission or both. You hold it overnight, they make a swap. What's their job? Getting you to press buttons. Do they care if you make money? No. So let's sell them a course on how to press buttons. Whoa. Crazy, isn't it? Do you have, see where you're going with this? It's my job as a trader to adapt accordingly. Yeah. Your job is to adapt to market conditions, and your job is really to survive. That's your job. Your job is not to get it right, because you can't get it right. You cannot predict future price movement. Yeah. The zones that I set up on this account are not predicting price movement. They are predicting where I think price is going to go in the future based on where it's been in the past. And it is there now. Look, there we go. I'm just about, I'm going to miss it by a gnat's whisker, the second entry. But this is where I thought it was going to go. Why? Because that's where it went last time. Price has a memory. Why did it do that? Because that's what it did last time. Why did it do this? Because that's what it did last time. Why did it do this? Because banks and institutions have iceberg orders sitting here to buy the currency at that level, because it's not financially viable for the euro to drop below that level against the Swiss franc right now. It's called, we call balance. So if the conditions when it gets back here are the same, it will do the same. When it gets here, it will do the same. If it doesn't, it will go to the next level. So if it breaks down from this area here, it's going to come down to this area here, or this area here. But I can guarantee you with 100% accuracy, one of those three things will happen, and there will be a 50% minimum retracement on one of those things. I have no clue which. I cannot see the future, but I do know that there has never been an instance in the past where that has not happened. So I just plan my risk accordingly to survive that move, worst case scenario, and get out when it comes back up again. This may take 6 weeks. Do you want to lose money for 6 weeks trying to buy something that's coming down, or do you want to just get out in 6 weeks and not lose a load of money? That's your choice. If you want to be the type of trader that's right and posts on all the social media groups going, spotted this, look at that, got in exactly the right spot, got out at the highs. Aren't I amazing? Great. 1 out of 100 trades, you're going to be able to do that. The other 99, you're going to get killed because you can't predict the future. And you have no idea what the weight of money with banks and institutions is at that point in time. Right there, there is either 100 million short or 100 million long. If there's 100 million short, it's going down. If there's 100 million long, it's going up. You can't control that. The banks control that. The banks do not control that individually either. It's an amalgamation of 10 large banks all putting their money in the pot at the same time. If there's 100 million put in short and 101 million put in long, today it's going to be a bull day. That's it. That's maths. That's how this thing moves up and down. It's a market. It has a seller and a buyer. The conducted price action at that point is based on the volume of amount of money at that point, long and short. That's it. There is nothing clever. There's no algorithm. There is no indicator. There's nothing apart from price. And there's nothing but weight of order. When you understand that, you understand it's fruitless looking for strategies, because there isn't a strategy that works. But you do need a strategy to be able to trade, because otherwise you're just pressing buttons at random, and you do want to give yourself a bit of an edge, don't you? So this is where all my indicators come in, because all my indicators do is give me an edge. More often than not, when that thing turns orange, the market comes down. Why? Because it just did. This indicator tells me that price has just reversed. That candle there created this orange box. What's just happened? It's moved up. I know it's moved up. I can see it. But it pings me and says it's just moved up. Okay, I'll buy it. What happens next has nothing to do with that indicator. Nothing to do with that indicator. It has to do with the weight of bank orders at that price point. If it goes my way, I take money. If it goes against me, I wait for a new level where I get another ping from an indicator, and I move my price down by averaging into the move, as the banks do, and wait for the move to go up, because at some point after coming down, it will go up. And if that isn't enough to get you out of your trade, you wait for the bit that is, because that's all it does. It's really simple. But until you have tried everything, you won't believe me, because you're still going to hunt for the thing that makes you the money. My indicator is brilliant. It's also really, really crap, because sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Every time somebody buys this indicator, they go, what's the strike rate? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Well, what time frame are you trading? What instrument are you trading? When are you trading? What hours are you trading? Which signals did you take versus which ones it signaled and you missed? Because they've all got an input on strike rate. But if it goes down and then it goes up and the box disappears and then it redraws the box up there and gives another signal, everyone complains because it told me to go short and then it went long. I really don't have an answer anymore, because that's what the price does. It goes up and down. This has just told you it's gone down. If you're not clever enough to see that on a chart and you need an indicator, that's because you're new at trading. You will become clever at some point and not need this anymore. But it's good for trade. These are training wheels. All indicators are training wheels. You don't need them after a while, do you? Because you know what's going on with price. You can see it. This is going up at the minute. Do you want to buy it or sell it? If you're a mean reversion trader, you're selling it. If you're a trend trader or a breakout trader, you're going to buy it. Yeah. Right now, this is an ADR reversal. That was your short entry this morning. You got that much profit. If you took the retest, your short entry was there, pretty much the same price. If you're holding it for a profit here, you're still in it. If you were looking for a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio, you're out and you're flat. What's the strike rate of the indicator? Don't know. What are you doing with it? It's all irrelevant. Everything is irrelevant. Price is the only thing that matters. And that is the one thing you haven't got control of. Sorry, I'm going into a massive rant this morning. It's Friday. I like your new Trade Manager dashboard. Unfortunately, mine is the old version. We'll get the new one then. You only need it well, you don't need it. It's up to you. I just wanted to revamp it and make it an EA so that it's usable. It's just much nicer having all the information and actually being able to act on it. Make money. Put it up there. It's just nice. It's just nice. It's just I just wanted to. This is what I wanted to build originally, but unfortunately I built it as an indicator, not an EA, so it couldn't interact with price. So yeah, I like it too. That's why I'm using it. See what these indices are up to before I go. Nothing. Dead today. FTSE's not moving. We just had the news on the euro, the pound come out. Let's have a look at what that did. Negative pound. Real mixed bag today, isn't it? So pound, not much of a reaction to it, to be honest, at the moment. It's a little bit negative. So it is bad news for the pound, but not dramatic miss. 4.6 on a 48. So again, it's slightly down. Services is up though. Services is our main export, financial services. So that is actually better than expected. Always makes me think, what do purchasing managers in financial services buy? Because what do you buy when you provide a service? Electricity, I guess? Computers? It's not like manufacturing. It's obvious. We're buying steel. We're buying rock. We're buying anything you make with wood. But purchasing managers in financial services, suits. This is just a bit of an odd one. But for some reason, I mean, that is our main export. So that is the most important part. And that has actually gone up slightly. So only if you give me a refund on the old one. No, I can't because I don't sell it. MQL5 do, and they don't do refunds. MQL5 don't do anything at the moment. By the way, for those of you that are using MT4, there's an update coming today. Check MetaTrader 5 updates. This is MetaTrader 4. So, okay. So there's an update coming at some point today. I'm not sure how they're going to roll it out. I imagine they're going to do a push on it. So you won't have a choice because it's a security update as well for some reason. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully, it doesn't break anything. This is meta quotes we're talking about. So hopefully they'll be fine. Right, I'll leave it there today. Anything you need, let me know. I'll be back on Monday with the normal stuff. So back on Monday, usual stuff at 8 o'clock. We'll look at the DAX and the FTSE, etc. See where everything's gone, really. Obviously, anything over the weekend. At the moment, I'm being a little bit cautious at the minute. I'm banking on Fridays. Anything that's in profit, really, that's worth banking. Basically, there's not an awful lot there at the moment that's worth banking, but just to try and get as flat as I can for the weekend, because obviously with the moment we've got Trump and he could just say anything at the weekend. We've had a couple of instances where we've had gaps, so I'm just being a little uber cautious because obviously these weekend moves like that, yeah, in Forex are rare. But with Trump, you know, I'm going to put 150% tariffs on every country that sells to us. The whole thing's going to be blown up on Monday morning, isn't it? So it'll obviously be the best mean reversion opportunity in the world, but you just got to think, if you're short on that, the drawdown you're going to take is going to be huge. So your P&Ls are going to jump from 3 or 4% drawdown to 10%, 15% drawdown, depending what you got on, literally overnight. So I'm trying to keep my exposure low at the moment, not just on US, but on everything. Because it's important to, be aware of these gaps at the moment. We're in a gappy market again now. And again, we were talking earlier about it. We haven't had a gappy market for 4 years. It's been lovely. Now we've got a gappy market again because Trump's back. So, you've got to be aware of what's changing. And at the moment, it's all to do with the orange man. Not the Oompa Loompa, the other one. The Oompa Loompa that runs the countries. Right, back on Monday. Anything you need, let me know. I'll be in Discord. I'm going to be working on the website this weekend, trying to get the stuff ready for sale on the website. So I'm moving my indicators over to me. And also, I'm going to be working on updates on Zone Trader and Position Trader EA. The new version of Position Trader EA is ready to use. It's live, but I can't get it on the marketplace because the marketplace is broken at the moment. So I'm doing all that. So I'll update you on that in Discord over the weekend when things progress. All right, so have a good weekend. Anything you need, let me know. Other than that, I'll see you hopefully on Monday. Have a good one.